known my worth. You know, even to the point where I got married for the first time, since I hadn't really owned who I was and my worth at an early age in the 20s, by the time I got married, I still didn't know it, right? So everything I had accomplished, everything I had done, I was going to sell it off, give it away in order to see this ideal wife, right? So I would definitely say those early years, 23, 24, if you are an entrepreneur, some people, you know, you may be 23, 24, you may be really fun, but you're not really about the business, you're about the business, and you are a woman, I would definitely have to say to never Portia, know your worth. The decisions and the things that you are working for are worth something. Everything that you are doing to benefit your life, it means something. Hold on to that. And so that portion, when you're 23, when you meet someone, you can arrive with your whole self and everything that you've become and everything that you own and who you are, and you don't have to pick it apart to be the right thing for a guy. You can actually show up, and if it's the right guy, he will enjoy you being involved with you. He will enjoy you knowing who you are and being close to your family, all that. He will take you just for who you are. If you stand on who you are and on your work. So I would have to take that forward. I would give that advice to someone.
I like that much.
My next question is from Tabitha Man, 2955. Okay, girl. I hope this is your address. This is definitely with your first and your last name and a number. So I hope this is not your address to your house. All right. Anyway, hello, Tabitha Man. I love you. Thank you for subscribing. Your question is, what was one piece of advice you would give to someone to have a successful marriage before it leads to a divorce? Or what advice would you give to you before leaving a marriage? Okay. My advice would be, if I can't say the advice is for me because I'm already in a relationship. But I can advise, even though I am going through a divorce, I still feel like I can advise generally when it comes to what you should do before you leave a marriage, okay, before it leads to divorce. Because of course I've been through, right? So I know what led to it, right? But I also can think back to say, okay, maybe this could have happened to help it out, maybe delay it. I would say number one, being honest with each other is very, very important, right? So, and that's not just being honest, it's being honest to the group, right? So, you're honest, of course, to a certain extent, because you sleep with a person every single night. You're probably raising kids together. You probably plan to meet with them. So, for the most part, yes, you are trusting to that person is trusting you. But when I say being 100% honest, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it breaks some of those things, the trauma that you think really had, right? So let's say you're a man and you never really talked about finance with a woman because maybe you've been a man that always leads with money. And you never really want a woman to know if you have money issues because you think she may lead you, right? Every other aspect of your marriage you may be so honest with, like you probably don't cheat, you probably don't come home, you probably always really have her back. But that's the one thing you decide not to be honest with her about, which is finances. Okay, well that's the ruin your marriage, right? Because when you are married, you are one, you are two. And if your woman wants to be a part of your financial future or your financial downfall or whatever is going on with you, you should allow her to be a part of that. Because that way, if it's something that y'all need to ride or die with, you can do it with her. You're not doing that alone. You can do it with you. Most people in a marriage will stay in the marriage as long as they already have a partner. So I would say be honest about financial share, or be honest beyond something that might you may feel you are inadequate in, you haven't experienced out. When it comes to women in a relationship and our partner is like a successful marriage, again, I have to go back to being honest. I have to go back to communication, and that's in all aspects. Sexually, communicate with your husband. You know what I mean? Like, don't just let the man in the relationship run the sexual aspect of it. Like, you always have to do. I don't care what you do, okay? Or I don't care what you do, you need to do to get him, or whatever you do to him. You still matter when it comes to your sexual relationship with your husband, right? So you want to always be honest with him on what you're doing for, and even if it's not necessarily in the bed, it's just throughout the day. Let's say you like, you know what, babe, like you haven't really told me I'm sexy in a while. You know what I mean? You haven't really looked at me or smacked me in the kitchen or whatever. Like these are things that I need to affirm me or even to warm me up when it comes to
I'll take care of myself.
experiences or whatever that is. And you can be as holy as you want to be. If you are married, you need to be honest with everything when it comes to your intimacy in your relationship, etc. Okay? And you know, I am not preaching to y'all. I am telling y'all things that I feel like could have helped and enhanced different relationships that I have been in as well. I will also say for women in a relationship, what is successful, it does mean happy wife, happy life. That's a real thing. But your happiness doesn't always have to come from him. I know the saying is like telling the man, happy wife, happy life, she's so good. But it's also you, right? Your happiness matters. What you do in your life to change your world, your joy, you coming out of your bedroom after you've gone to work, after you've gone to school, when you come out your bedroom, how do you feel about yourself? And the joy that you give in your life that you're living is what matters. A lot of people when they're married, they start identifying themselves as so white, so and then therefore if you're identifying that, then where are you? Right? Where is God? Where is maybe you don't have that anymore. You're now the husband, you're now the wife. You're person like me who has dealt with depression up and down in my life, you know, different parts and it was triggering here and there. Then you know
That's some sausages at the best I could.
and so I would say in successful marriage, when it comes to happy wife, happy life,
Yeah.
good husband, good life, etc., whatever that is,
I'm like chopping
take care of
nothing around.
yourself. Whether it's doing what you do, whether it's working out, whether it's carving out time for yourself, whether it's sitting your spouse down, letting them know what you need. When you start to live a life that you're unhappy with in your marriage, and you're not communicating that, or you're not helping the situation, not putting a step forward to help enhance your life experience, then it's gonna fail because then you're gonna start having resistance. So I would definitely say self-love, self-care, making sure that you're good as a spouse, that you can show up as a whole person to your husband or with your kids is really good matter. So that can help as well. And it's outside this list, do not go around the keyword unless you do. Never get a woman to be like
Applebee's all you can eat is back, featuring the chicken tender you always love. Plus double crunch shrimp. And the all served unlimited for just $15.99. Only at Applebee's.
That break up a little bit. Oh, spaghetti?
What's my TV? Oh, my sports meets entertainment.
Oh, the beach.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. Breakfast club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ and the just Larry. So we got Breakfast Club. All is here as well. We got a special guest in the building. Indeed, more of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Julie Juicidor. Well, good morning, y'all. How you feeling?
I'm good. Actually, I've been working a couple days. I'm showing me love. I'm not tired. I'm awake. I'm here with y'all.
Yeah.
You know?
My energy
know, I've been going through a lot, but I feel like we don't have seen me for the past, 2 years. I'm definitely in a more stable place. Yeah.
When did you get to that place?
Honestly, working around was like my therapy. So I think that just being able to get all of those emotions out, and just do something productive and then put it all on paper and leave there, that was a big part of, my ability.
I don't know what you're talking about. A lot of people might not watch the Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because you know Housewives of Atlanta, and recently got a divorce separation,
It's not official yet.
Separation.
Still going through
which is
the
a
process.
weird separation because he lives in the basement
Yes.
and you live upstairs. And you're not allowed downstairs.
And he's been there for, and he's not allowed to go upstairs unless like random access. It's just like, I've never heard of this. Like, I don't know anybody else. I can say, well, how did you deal with this? I've never heard of this, and I did not know that would ever be something the judge would rule on. So it makes it extra complicated. It's already hard enough. The work is already tough enough, but, to run into each other in the driveway or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot. You have no idea.
How did you come to that point though? Who said this is how it should be? I've never heard of a kid. He said, I want to live, and I want to remain in the house.
And like, kind of that, he's basically like, I'm not leaving. Like, his attorneys were like, yeah, he's not going to leave the premises. And so, have you seen the movie
Waterloo.
Thank you, yeah, right? It's like that in real life, where it's an aspect in the marriage. So, what I've been learning this process, like, it's love, it's place, and we built this beautiful family, and we're building legacy, and then all of a sudden we're going through a divorce, and now it's all business. It's like, a negotiation of so the asset in the house is a big deal, and so I would love to just split everything, like, and 50-50, keep it simple, we can be done. But he's like, I want everything, I want a house, I really want this in your business that I've had since 2005, it's my company, and he's coming for that, and it's just,
How did y'all get there? What started this separation? People assume you cheated, people assume different things. How did y'all get there? Let's go, girl.
I'd like you to get your hot water bag. You be scrambling and scrambling, you get your hot water bag. I like that.
yeah. Okay, so everything, so then you watched it, he's like,
Explain to people. So what happened?
right, so we lived in Chicago, I'm from Chicago, born and raised. And we lived there for some time, and it was a lot of women. It was a lot of women, the whole kind of things here, owner. Yeah, I got family, like it's family. Everybody knows we live here. People seeing you out, sir, at dinner with women, so it was a lot of that. I do. Excuse me, what did you say? Well, he got a lot of cousins. You remember cousin Courtney on the show? Oh, you don't know cousin Courtney. Oh, you.
So wait, so back that was in Chicago, found out. They went to Atlanta.
Yeah, I did. Because let me tell you. So, my parents were married for years, so my dad passed away. So I grew up in a household, where I saw people choose each other every day, fight, make up. That was just what I saw. So that's what I wanted for myself. So when I got married, it was like, this is what we go through. We're going to talk about it, communicate, move forward. So yes, I did forgive him. We moved to Atlanta, and he left me with Tampa for 3 days. Everyone saw that on national TV. But it was embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like, you leave your family and you don't tell us where you went. And it was more so because it was public, and humiliation and embarrassment. And I think that was tough.
That was the last show. That was it.
I mean, it was that, and it was just continuous behavior of like dealing with other women, and then coming on the show, and then there's women saying, oh, they were pregnant. There was a particular woman who reached out and said she was pregnant with this baby, and that was a big thing. That was probably one of the biggest straws. And there was the disrespect of my mom, my family, the disrespect of my son JoJo, my 14-year-old. So it was just very layered, and finally he moved out of the bedroom, so we separated, and we were separated at the time. So there was a huge separation. We were trying to repair things, but ultimately it just wasn't able to be repaired.
I think I cheated.
Well, that's what he says. You know, it was almost like, oh, she's hanging out and having fun. Oh, this is my moment, you know, and now it flips to like a victim mentality when that really wasn't what it was.
And it's pride moves, they thought it was a girl.
Oh,
Well, they thought that before this, but, yeah, but I heard you talk about it on Carlos King, and that was my first time actually hearing you explain it the way you did. So he alleged you were dating a woman at the time, and that's what you went, and you said at the time you were going through so much with him that you would have taken a picture from a cardboard box. Please talk about
And
that.
then cheating with you.
What is the matter with you, girl? Lord,
how to relieve from the situation that you need. I mean, you know, I wouldn't say it was a meeting. You know, we were hanging out. That's still my girls would say, like we're still friends. But I think it was extra sauce on it. I will say, okay, flirty, yeah.
Here we go.
Like I'll be honest about that. A little nibble on some food. We went to dinner. We was eating at the dinner table, but all of the extra stuff. I mean, you have to really watch the show and know who Ralph is. He is very much a narcissist, and that's who I married. That's who I chose to love. But at the end of the day, what happened, people had actually witnessed it, the disrespect. So to say, okay, I'm hanging with this woman, and now it's a relationship, that just came out of nowhere. There was never any evidence. Where was he? Like, you know, people can say things that are like true. People say things about you, you know, is everything true? Not everything. Not everything.
But listen, how do you balance feeling in private and your pain being monetized on the outside?
Honestly, you know, that time that we had to come right back on the show, I was actually grateful because that was the time that I took this stuff. Like I spent my time alone. You know, I just completely shut down and I did a lot of praying. And like I said, honestly, people may not have understood why I said this was my HMR. But really it was, I was very grateful because it was a blessing at that time to have somewhere to go. A lot of times, like, I didn't want to wake up and get out of bed. It's like, you just don't feel productive. Like, overwhelmed, depression is real. So, it was just knowing that I have people supporting me, believing in me, and are rooting for me. And I had to show up, you know, for that. And when I got to the studio, it was like, okay, I made it, you know, and then being able to compile all this body work and have a productive outlet, like I said, it was exactly what I needed to get into the other side where I am now.
Looking back, because the project is here, the music is here, but looking back on you brought up the Dennis and Jeffrey comment, and that people had conversations about that for a while.
I know, it was crazy.
Right. I'm not gonna lie, it looked shady when it first came out. Because it came out that you were working with Porsche's.
Portia this?
Yes.
What other did that if I were here? Yeah, it's Portia's
I mean,
birthday.
I don't think
Yes,
it's a
Portia
shock for
did
me.
it.
Remember we did an album with Portia about this whole thing? Now this is,
And it was assumed that you did it behind Porsche's back without talking to Porsche. But that wasn't
That
true.
didn't happen like that. See, there we go. See, we gotta talk about it. Because that's not how it happened. So, actually, you know, this is during the time Portia was living her African princess life. She saw me, she was in Dubai, she was in Nigeria. She wasn't checking for the girls. You know, I was calling her. So on the record, I called Portia a bunch of times.
To know that you were working with them.
Yes, like night. Dennis had been reaching out for years, like come be an ambassador for Naya. Because, you know, I was like, no. But because of what I was going through, this is my selfish season, okay? And the music was good. Because I was like, Dennis, I thought music? Like, I was confused like everybody else, right? I was. But when you send my team the music, it's like, this is really good. Like, I need to do this music. That's how it felt for me. So, when I was calling her and I was texting her, I have the receipts. I was like, girl, I need to talk to you. Like, it's really, really important. Bunch of texts. She wasn't responding to you, girl, like, at all. Cricket. So, when she did come back and we did talk, we were in the studio, Dennis would be talking to her. And she's like, give me some songs. She's like, oh, this is my favorite song. This is my favorite song. So I'm like, okay, Portia. He told me he had a conversation, so she's cool. We talked 2 weeks before we started filming. And she was like, yes, girl, I know. We're going through our divorces. We need to get together. I love the music. I was like, okay, because, you know, I wanted to make sure, like, we're all family. It's all, yes, girl, I know. Like, it's all good. Let's hang out. A week before we film, I'm sorry to come to your birthday party, girl. Well, let's turn up tonight. You meet again. Let's go out for dinner. That was the energy. So we go to the birthday party. That's why I was so flabbergasted. I was like, I had nothing to say.
He said it was a different story.
But that's,
So when the cameras came on.
yeah, exactly. It was like a light switch. It was like,
Why didn't Dennis
He did. He said she knew. And she never denied it. But if you notice, when we were at Shamia's party, it was like, I'm mad at you because you're working with Dennis. Then it switched to, well, you're filming with Dennis. And then it was like a go naked. So I was not clear on why she was upset and what the real beef was. But as you've seen the season, I just see, the fans are smart. Shout out to the fans because they're seeing like, no, we kind of catching up to some lies here. That's not actually how it happened. And it seemed more like deflection because you can't talk about a certain person. Let's talk about it. But she couldn't. And she had said that. She couldn't talk about
She
it.
did it for camera.
You have a concerningly large collection of butterfly clips. I think it's fun.
Welcome to Visible, the ultimate wireless hack. It's one line, powered with unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Now just $20 a month for 1 year, guaranteed. Stream, scroll, browse, and connect with great coverage, plus a limited hotspot included. That's a top-tier network at a budget-friendly cost. But you already knew all that, didn't you? For a limited time, get Visible for $20 a month, guaranteed for 1 year.
When you work on cars as much as I do, you learn what matters most. For me, that's trust. What sets and dance apart is the people. They don't just hand me parts. They help me get back on the road. They've always got the right parts at the right price, right when I need them. Whether you just need your battery tested or you got years of experience. Advanced Auto Parts is right around the corner and ready to help.
This is how we advance.
Unique story. But I mean, you need to have things going on in your personal life. Like, why is everything about what I got going on?
I know what I'm saying on this. It's hard to watch sometimes because you don't know if it's real shade, if it's real smoke, or if it's just a story.
Everything I do. I came on the show and it became structured. Like, I came on the show with it. Like, that's not how it was. That's what I want to come in with my life. Louboutins, be fabulous. And I wanted to show black love and marriage and all the beauty and all that. I didn't want to show this. So everything that I've shown has just been my real life. I'm not ever produced anything or tried to get storyline because, like, I've been working since I was 8 years old. I don't need to put on for cameras. That's not me. Some people may. Like, that's what some people may do. And I feel like in this situation, instead of Portia opening up about, like, her real feelings without talking about that particular person, she didn't need to deflect it and make me her punching bag. I think that was probably the most hurtful part because, like, I'm going through a lot too.
The guy wanted to come out with it, and maybe he was crazy. He says, "You're supposed to be my friend, but you work with my ex, and I had no idea." Did y'all have a conversation after that?
We did. We had to sit down and
Which one are you talking about? The Nita?
well, sit down when she walked out. I could see, it escalated. And so it wasn't really like true assault, but yeah, no, it's like Portia is not the person as you have seen that will communicate. She's going to get up and walk away. She's going to cover with all of this happiness. Like, she got it. And that's not real. And I think everyone was anticipating her to come back this season and was excited. But ultimately, she couldn't deliver on the story that we thought she did. She thought it was one, and she couldn't bring that.
You don't think Portia was delivering this?
I mean, that's just what I think. That's my personal opinion is that this wasn't a real one. So then what are we talking about? Let's talk about something real. You get, two women together who are strong, who are bossing in their own right, have a conversation. We're not going to agree on everything, but we don't need to make this our whole thing we're talking about for the whole season. Yeah, this. The whole thing. I just talk about that.
That's why I hate reality.
I didn't talk about that.
That's why sometimes I hate reality because they will monetize your child with pain. Like, when she might be going through a divorce, when Portia might be going through, it's like, hey, and if they can't get that, they're going to get y'all.
I don't like it.
What's the point of doing it?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, we're both going through divorce. We could be talking about that. You know what I mean? Everything doesn't have to be like a moment. And I think, you see some girls that come on the show, it's just like, I need a moment. Let me just say something to go viral or whatever. And it's like, no, just be yourself. And I think that's also how I've been able to be on now for the fourth season. And that's just what I've learned because there's been a lot of cash shakeups. Like, I don't even know how I'm still here because of the people that were here, been here for a long time, and are no longer here. But what I've learned from the OGs that poured into me is just be yourself, and the story will tell itself.
That's one of the questions. You know what will make it here.
I literally was about to ask, but that's not gonna make it here.
This right now?
Yes.
No, this looks good. The hair that I'm wearing, the sit down, where you saw the veins, that's, I wore it in real time. Because when you put it through a 1-2 edit, how I made it looked great. But in person, y'all saw it. That was good.
So are you?
Sauce is
advanced?
cooking.
No, I have a great vendor, she's melted, we're good.
You don't like what they did.
I mean, it just didn't work for me per se. When you go to Bleach Blonde, it did something. That wasn't right.
Would you have said that prior to all the fitness stuff? Because I thought you were so, it was a good partnership.
It
And
was.
at the beginning of the season, you said you thought you were doing numbers for Gojek.
I did do numbers. I did do numbers. That's why. Well, I just believe, like, as Black women, we support each other, right? If you're my girl, I'm gonna support you. We have a great working relationship. It was fun. It was fun to work with her at that time. And if that's your friend, you're gonna hold your friend down. But it was just when all of this started to happen, it just became corny to me. So I'm like, okay, well now since you're gonna drag me, well, I'm gonna speak my truth. Because the truth is, like, I had your back, but if you don't have my back, now it's fair game.
You need to show.
Like you said, all right, let me be honest about this.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
Now, okay.
I would rather go naked than wear naked.
You think the show would still be interesting if your portion of work, or like tension just wasn't.
I mean, I came on the show, let me make it clear, because I'm an actress, because I was literally like in grade school, right? So I made a decision, because I was like, you know what, people know me from this role, they may not like me from this role, or that movie, or whatever. I felt going through COVID, it was just an opportunity to be more vulnerable, and let the fans really get to know me, and see me as a mother, and a wife, and a friend, and a sister, and so many other things, and I wanted to show that. And so that was enjoying the show.
I'm okay. I'm cooking and I'm hot.
It's just hopefully inspired other people.
I know your mom texted me before. She was like,
So what show?
I'm outside.
Like that was.
I was knocked
That's
out.
what I texted you. So I'm like, I can't call him. I can't
So
call
I
him. But I
just
can text.
let's do this one moment. Let's do this storyline. I actually feel like when we used to watch Housewives and when it was nostalgic, was because it was a group of women who were good. And when we saw them fall out, it was because I'm fighting because I love you and I know you can be better. You can do so much more. So that was what it was. And they were able to resolve it forward. And I feel like here, sometimes they just want to like kill you all. They want to just like go below the belt, like, dang, like, do you like it or not? Like, what, are we building or not? And so that's what I would like to see the show get back to. And I think this season, overall, it was refreshing. It wasn't hard. It's some of the fans who said like they felt like the show was on time. So I think we're moving towards a positive place.
I agree with that. So, like you doing hard right now. You were able to say.
That's all.
Oh, I say, you know, that was
But I mean, it's your show. If you want to.
Just a little hot. That's all.
Well, I mean, you have to wake up and see people dragging you constantly. And I'm the type of person that'll just like, okay, all right, And after so long, I think now it's like I got to start standing for me. Because for so long, I have protected my husband, I have protected my friends,
Yeah, yeah.